Liftoff and the clock has started.
Goal.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Vobes show with me, Richard Vobes, and you, the lovely Julia. It is the 6th of October 2021. It's 8 o'clock in our world. It might be a different time zone where you are. Perhaps they're on Gallifrey.
Maybe.
In which, what time would it be in Gallifrey?
What time do you want it to be in Gallifrey?
Can it be any time? If you've got one of those TARDIS things.
Those TARDIS things.
You know. I don't
Time
know.
and relative dimensions in space.
There you go. You're a Doctor Who fan.
Yeah.
And if you could have any Doctor Who you like to play Doctor Who...
Well, any actor.
Any actor you like to play Doctor Who, what actor would you like to play Doctor Who?
Well, just because we mentioned it a couple of weeks back, or days ago. Anyway, I'd love to see Joanna Lumley do a full series, you know.
Joanna Lumley, yeah, she would be good. She would be good.
She'd be very funny.
I'd like, if it was Joanna Lumley, could she be when she was Purdy in the New Avengers? She was much younger.
That was.
She
I
could kick
that.
her legs, and she was very sexy.
She still is very. I was going to say she still is.
I'm not saying she's not sexy. She's more mature. Anyway, who would you like to have a Doctor Who? James Bond, everyone's done that, you know, who would you like to have James Bond? But who would be the next Doctor Who if you could have anyone? I'm sure that, what was the name, Jodie Whittaker?
Yes.
Yeah, I kept saying Foster last time, wasn't it?
Yes.
Maybe what they should do with these parts is that you have to do the next alphabet. So next James Bond would be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. So it would be KC. Well, it could be KC and the Sunshine Band. That would be James Bond. So you would take the first letter of each name, first name, surname, Christian name, surname. Well, it might not be your Christian name. Might not be christened, of course. And same with Doctor Who. So Jodie Whittaker would be another K. Oh, wait a minute. Because I was stupid there. I did James Bond, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, that should have been Daniel Craig. So A, B, C, D, E, D. ED. Who's got the initials ED? Eric Dunce. He's up there. Good old Eric Dunce.
I was going to say Ewan McGregor, but that's definitely not a D.
So, yeah, we want somebody... is there an actor or actress? Can you say actress now these days? Are they all actors?
I generally just call them actors.
Actor.
Actors.
We want an actor with ED as their name. E and then D. And Jodie Whittaker would be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, J.
She's a JD.
Yeah, H,
So that'd
I,
be a
J,
K.
K.
K-E.
K. No, what's
No.
after Whittaker? W, X. Oh, well, that would be difficult,
W.
wouldn't you? So what did we say it was? J, K, X.
I'm confused already.
Anyway, Alan Sandell says, all the actors I know are dead. Anyway, that's just a by the by. Thank you very much for joining us on this delightful day. We had broad sunshine today. I love it when they use these terms, broad sunshine. Where do you use the word broad in another, broad... I mean, okay, Broad Church. That was a TV series, wasn't it?
That was.
Didn't we use a word the other day? And we said, you don't use that. There's some words that just go with another word, like broad sunshine, and then but you wouldn't sort of go, oh, broad rain or broad.
No, yeah.
But we were talking about one the other day, and then
Yes,
I
but I
looked
can't
it
remember
up.
what it was.
No, I can't remember it. And it was one of those words that's always associated with the other word, and then you think, I don't know where else you would use that word. It was a bit bizarre. Boris Johnson for the next Doctor Who, says Michael White, knows where, when and why. That would be a bumbling doctor, full of optimism but never actually killed off the Daleks. Well, none of them seem to have killed off the Daleks, have they? So they're all a bit
No, they
hopeless.
keep bouncing back.
They keep bouncing. It wouldn't have a TV series without the Daleks. They are really the star of them. What else? Station Master Choice says that I would like to see Mr. Pastry play Doctor Who. Apparently, Richard Hearn was approached for consideration, but John Pertwee got it. Thank God that John Pertwee got it. He was, of course, the best Doctor that we've had. No one has actually...
Was he really?
Yes, he was. He was the best Doctor. And that whole era of John Pertwee's reign, when you had Brigadier... Oh, what's his name? You had Sergeant Benton, Brigadier Captain Yates, and the Brigadier. I don't know what the Brigadier's surname was.
No, I'm racking my brains.
And it was they had
Brain
a
cell.
thing called UNIT, didn't they? And it was like he
Yes,
was working
yes.
with the army, and it made sense. And he couldn't take off, so all the adventures had to be on the Earth, and the autons came out of the glass windows. Very frightening. I used to hide behind the curtains, not the curtains, the sofa. Couldn't do that now. Haven't got a sofa.
Ellen DeGeneres is suggesting.
Who's that? Is that a person?
Yes.
Yes.
It's the lesbian lady who does the chat show type thing. And,
Oh, in America?
yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
American.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, that's cool. What ho, says Andrew Norris. Fantastic. Lovely to see you from Croatia. Hope Croatia is good. Mark Burgess says broad rental market is something I came across in my work. Ah, yes. Oh, yes, Lethbridge Stewart. That's right. Thank you, Mark Burgess. Lethbridge Stewart. Or Leabridge Stewart. Lethbridge Stewart, wasn't it? Yeah, something like that. Brigadier Sir Alistair Gordon, Lethbridge Stewart, says Dave Flute. So we got all the Doctor Who geeks out there, which is fantastic. Nigel Sadler says, hello, I think your mic level is a bit low, Richard, compared to Julia. You are more echoey than usual. Oh, well, that might be you. I'm looking at the UV meters. I am inches from the microphone. I cannot make that any louder.
Strange.
Yes, I've not touched anything. The control knobs are...
I haven't been cleaning anything either.
No,
So I've not
you're not a
nudged
cleaner.
any.
This is not your role.
No,
you are
but-
superstar.
No, but you.
Isn't she? She is a superstar.
Oy vey. No, because I was cleaning that because of all the bubbles. Do you remember?
Oh yes, I remember all the bubbles. Talking of that, we haven't had any bubbles. What's going on? 1 minute she's a superstar, next she's a lax bubble operator. Ah, there we go. The show.
That's funny. I heard a cracked whip, but I didn't see the whip.
Did you not see the whip? Yes, I do have to. Oh, blimey, that hit me on the head, that bubble. Now I've got brain damage. Wouldn't take. You've got one on the top of your. It's gone now.
Oh, no, I've got a couple of
Now,
them.
ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have the roll call. Julia's got a new plan.
I'm writing out the register.
She is writing the register as we
So
go.
I don't mean to be rude by looking
Making
down.
sure, so that we can actually have the roll call at some juncture within the show. Not necessarily at the beginning. We could do it a little bit later, giving you time.
That would be great.
Time.
Time to muck it all up. Yeah.
Which would be fantastic. So, I want to tell you what I've got on the back of my mind to talk about, and that is, would you go to Boots to see your GP? If you needed to see a doctor, I saw this.
Do you know what? I'd go anywhere to see. Well, maybe not anywhere. I'd go almost anywhere, just to see the damn GP.
Sean James Cameron sent me in a cutting from a newspaper. Do send in cuttings, by the way. If there's interesting stories, do send them in. Just take a photograph if you see it, or link a link to a screenshot. I can't always get into the newspapers because they want me to accept all their cookies. And to be honest, if I eat all of those, I'm just going to get fat. But it'd be interesting. Thank you. That's the first badum-tish of the night, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
So this one was about doctors, and it was Boots the chemist, which I suppose is linked to it. They are a chemist. If you've got a problem, you can't see your GP. Would you go to see, presumably, he is one step up from the pharmacist? I mean, the great thing about it is that he could give you a prescription if that's what you require, and then you just nip down and get the prescription from the sales floor. That would be quite handy. But what do you think? Would that be a good solution? It's £15, though, to have that consultation. Would that put you off? Is that too much?
Yeah.
Is it not enough? Would you pay more? How much would you pay to see? I mean, it depends. If you're in real agony and the doctor says, I ain't going to see you for 5 weeks, which is what I've heard it reported, I think it's actually quite a good idea. I think I would do it. Mark Burgess says, would you actually see a real person, though? Well, I would want my money's worth. I definitely want to see a real person for 15 quid, wouldn't you? Audrey Forbes says, is it a real GP? Well, that's the thing. I wouldn't mind if it was a retired chappie who used to work in, general practitioner. They'd have to be qualified, wouldn't they? I mean, you couldn't just have somebody dressed up and going, oh, yes, I'm a GP. Come and see now. What is your problem? Oh, I see, madam. Yes, it's your fingers. Yes, you've got no sense in the tips of your fingers, madam. I see. And you're what, 26, 36, 24, 36. I see. Just take your clothes off and lie on the couch and I'll have a look at your fingers. I might want to take some photographs whilst you're naked. I mean, of your fingers, just for for medical references. Yes, you want to see somebody who's qualified. I mean, I wouldn't get undressed and lie on the couch and expose myself for anyone who at least didn't have a CSE. I mean, they've got to have some qualification, haven't they? I mean, they could be a coal miner down with a miner bird. As long as they've got the miner bird. We all like a little miner bird, don't we? Is it a real GP? Yes. Elaine Whitlock is out there. Hello, Elaine. She says our surgery had the doors wide open today and the BP machine back in place. Can I ask what a BP machine is?
Blood pressure?
Oh, is it the blood pressure? I thought it was BP as in petroleum, BP. I wish the BP garages were open. That would be very handy. Trev travels by narrowboat. Hello to you. Where are you? Where are you? We've been waiting on the side to hitch a ride. He says, if you say no to all cookies, you still get into most websites. Yes, I normally have to go in and go, no, I don't want all the promotional stuff. I don't want you, I don't want to agree to you spying on me, lowering your surveillance cameras through the windows like they did in the War of the Worlds feature film back in the 1950s when they had the flying machines. Do you remember that in the War of the Worlds? And they had this sort of snake-like thing, and it came to nothing like H.G. Wells' story, of course. So that's all right. Daniel Watkins says, thanks, I'm very upset. I'm sorry you're upset. I hope that we're cheering you up, whatever it is that you're upset about. And Sean James Cameron says, Boots, Book Lovers Library, was a library run in Boots the chemist stores. It began in 1898. at the instigation of Jessie Boots' wife, Florence. It closed in 1966. So not only could you borrow a book at the library, you could get your prescription for alopecia, creeping alopecia, as we are very familiar with, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you've ever seen the film The Naked Truth. I think it's 1966, or was it 57? 1957, The Naked Truth, with Terry Thomas, Peter Sellers, Peggy Mount, Joan Sims, Dennis Price. Absolute priceless film to watch. Fantastic. Julia was over the other day, and we watched the video.
Yes.
So yeah, brilliant film.
Really enjoyed it. Really
And
enjoyed
of course, there was a moment in that, to explain how we got to that, in which Peter Sellers is dressed up as an old bargeman on the Thames, and he's got this moustache that's peeling off, and Terry Thomas is questioning him about it, and he says, he says it's a creeping alopecia. I don't know what alopecia is, to be honest with you.
It's where the hair falls out.
Oh, where the hair, yes.
Yeah. I knew a fellow who had alopecia. No eyebrows, no eyelashes, no hair on the head or body anywhere.
I wish I could have that. I wouldn't have to shave. Where can you get it? Can you get it on a prescription from Boots?
You'd have to have your eyebrows tattooed on then, wouldn't you?
Oh yes, that would. Well, that wouldn't mind, because I've got one. Not one.
One eye.
One
yes,
eye.
I know that.
No. What do you call these eyebrows? I've got one hair that is a ginger hair, and it's stronger and thicker than all the rest, and it grows forwards like this.
I might have noticed it.
And the only reason
pluck it.
The only reason I mention that, well, it's the only reason I know that my son Billy is my son Billy.
Oh, really? That's the only reason?
Well, I wasn't there.
I think the fact that his sense of humour is...
Yes, that's very true.
Exactly
actually.
yours.
I was there at his conception and at his birth, but in between, I don't know where he went. Lord Jeffrey says, that how Avon started 10 books, get a free perfume. Is that right?
Probably.
I'm at the Weeping Cross, says Trev's Travels by Narrow Boat. Where the hell is Weeping Cross? That sounds a lovely place. And Pam says, my little dog can see the vet, but I can't get a face-to-face appointment. Is it because the vet is very small? No, that can't be it. The vet is... because you could bend down and see the vet, couldn't you? Woody Jenny is... actually, she's talking to somebody else, which is absolutely lovely. Andrew Norris says something to somebody else. And Josephine Suter says, please use the head tickler, Julia. Don't give her any...
I was waiting for the right time.
Don't give her any excuse.
Just hoping to slide over and find it without him noticing.
KP says, I would only see a GP at Boots if they can write an NHS prescription. Does that mean, KP, that you are entitled to a free prescription? I imagine that would be the case, though. If you paid 15 quid, I would want the prescription as part of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they must get a discount on their drugs that they shove out. Trev's Travels by Narrowboat is near Stratford.
Stafford.
Sorry, yes. Stafford.
Stafford.
Staff that foot down your neck. Staff that foot down your neck. That would be great. I wonder if the doctor at Boots could then send you to hospital. Could they do that referral to a, the specialist bloke? A specialist. Is that the one? Yes. You know, when you go to the doctor and you know that you say, oh, doctor, my willy's fallen off. And he says, oh, let me have a look. And you say, well, hang on a minute, it's in my pocket. And he goes, oh, yes, I better refer you. They never want to get their hands dirty, do they? I mean, I went to the doctor.
This is your story.
I went to the doctor and said, my willy's fallen. And I said, yeah, okay, well, you needn't undress. And don't you want to have a look? Don't you? I've got creeping alopecia down in the nether regions. He said, no, it's perfectly fine. I don't need to see that. I'll refer you. No, but I'd rather you had a look. No, please, Mr. Vobes, could you put your pen... Oh, my goodness. Nurse. While the nurse is running away. So could he indeed... Oh, the lovely Julia's gone and got the... Oh, blimey.
Wrecking the studio.
Sorry, it was a minor earthquake there. It's a bit like that. Where is that volcano that is erupting at this very moment? Is it in Brighton High Street? There is a volcano somewhere in the world. Someone remind me where it is. And I was thinking today, I was thinking, we've done all this green stuff to reduce our emissions, and now we've got almost no carbon going out. And then a volcano erupts and resets everything. We're back to square one. Now the whole universe is full of carbon again. Andrew Norris says 125 watching and 25 likes. Hit that button. Hit the button. Hit the button.
Hit the button. Hit the button.
So lovely, Julia.
Oh, one more.
Oh, one more. There we are. Lovely. This is like penance. You're having to write almost like 100 lines
Well,
during
it'll be
the
interesting because I'll keep this here for next time.
Yes.
And then,
Compare.
yeah.
Compare. Andrew Norris says it's off the coast of West Africa. Oh, yes, that's it. Yes, it's off the coast of West Africa. So it's nearer to you, kind of, in Croatia than it is to us. So you're going to be swamped with all that CO2, which is a great thing, of course, because you'll find all your plants will grow ever so quickly. And whatever it is that you've recently planted in your allotment will be... Because they love a bit of CO2, don't they, plants? Apparently, professional gardeners who garden for money and sell their stuff, they pump the CO2 into greenhouses so that plants grow quicker. Which begs the question why we're trying to get rid of all the CO2, because surely that will help the trees grow quicker and give us Oxygen by Jean-Michel Jarre.
Apparently, Gran Canaria has an eruption, and Iceland and Hawaii also.
Well, there we go. How much more? It's how much. It's nothing to do with me, by the way.
Which volcano were you referring to?
Oh, yeah, which one? Well, either of them. The one that's spewing out the red stuff.
La Palma and Iceland, in fact.
Ah, La Palma.
La Palmas.
Is that that was a Michael Caine character, wasn't it? La Palma. I am La Palma. What was he saying? My name is Harry Palmer. What was that from? Ipcris File. Now, if ever you wanted a lovely themed piece of music by Gene Barry, I think it was Gene Barry, the Ipcris File is, it's haunting. It's very haunting. We used to do spy films in the 60s. Spy films in the 60s were really good, weren't they? Those old, the Harry Palmer films. My name is Harry Palmer. My name is... And he was pulling this nail into his hand. People out there know what I'm talking about. Vobes Joe, Richard, type in YouTube live camera Las Palmas. Oh, right. Okay, let's try that, shall we?
And in the meantime, Michael White says, I know someone who had a skin graft on his feet. They had to take the skin off his bottom. The only trouble was that when he passed wind, it blew his socks off. I knew that'd tickle you. There we go.
Is that true?
All right, ham it up.
Is that true?
Obviously not. No. It's a joke.
Oh, right. Fair enough.
Tickled you though, didn't it?
I thought that was true. Type in live camera Las Palmas.
L-A-S-P.
This is
right
painful.
there, look.
Oh, yes. YouTube Las Palmas. Live. Oh, no, that's a movie. Baby Trash's Bar.
Oh, yeah, you didn't put live though, did you?
No, I didn't, because you said there. So I just went to where you just said. I'm not blaming you. Right, let's see if that live feed of Las Palmas. Let's go. There's no copyright on this. Here we go. This is the Las Palmas. That's a live feed, ladies and gentlemen, of firework night at Las Palmas. Any minute we'll see the guy in a wheelbarrow going, it wasn't me. We haven't got any matches. It's a bit dull, isn't it? I wonder if there's a better version of it. I want one where it's actually erupting, doing lots of flames. Oh, here we go.
You want drama? Oh.
I want a bit of drama in
That is a bit of drama.
Yeah, there we go.
It's a lot of drama.
This is more like your live feed. There you go. How about that? Wow. I wonder if the local heating company has to charge extra for all that lava. They could sell some lamps, though, couldn't they? Cool, blimey. They'll sell a few lamps at the back of this.
That is amazing. Wow.
There you go. It's almost as good as the live show.
That was
Don't
me
tell them
looking
where
over
those...
the camera to see the...
Streamed live, 1 million See, all you need is a volcano to erupt, and you can have 1,465,834 people watching.
Nah, you're all right, thanks.
I
You can
could
keep
bend
your
over
volcano.
and make my bottom. No, fair enough.
That's
Will that get people?
TMI.
TMI.
Too much information.
Sorry about that.
And we're all sending prayers to Daniel Watkins' nan.
Yes.
She hopes she recovers swiftly.
Absolutely. No, that's fascinating.
fully.
Thank you very much for sharing that. It is a staggering thing, is it not? That's what volcanoes do, isn't it? Says Sean Buttermer.
Yeah,
They
it is,
do. They
actually.
blow up.
Every now and then they go.
I think we should have the roll call. Do you reckon it's about time?
I reckon we can
Phew.
manage a roll call now.
I think we can manage it now. The lovely Julia, she's been working on this plan for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I think it's going to be fantastic. So let us start the across the room music. Will you stop? Oh, sorry. You can carry on with a bit of that. That's perfectly fine. No, you can't go. Hang on, I've lost the knack of this. There we go. And there she is, ladies and gentlemen. Fade up the microphone. And that was... Oh, hello. It's frozen.
Frozen. When
Everything's... Oh, dear. The whole camera system has frozen, ladies and gentlemen. One moment. I wonder if it's anything to do with... Oh, I can't... Oh, there we go. Hang on a minute. That might... No. I'm afraid the camera system has frozen. I'm going to have to try something to get that back. Hello.
Should I just come back over? Is this mic on even?
Yeah, your mic is on. I'm just going to throw everything into abeyance here by restarting the technical thing, which is this business. So we're going to restart. We're going to restart that. But Julia, we can actually, if I do this, if I can get that straight, we can kind of see you. And in a minute, that's still stuck. Wait.
That's amazing how I moved that quickly.
It's very unflattering.
Not very flattering. At least it's can't see.
No,
up
I didn't mean to press that either. Hang on, I've got to think. How do I get?
I mean, it could have been a worse shot, but
yes. Whilst you're there,
I'll have a snooze.
yeah, have a snooze. Hang
With
on,
the
the
ferret.
webcam is on. We want to properties. This is very awkward, isn't it? Deactivate that.
It
Reactivate.
looks like I'm passing wind.
I've lost the picture altogether now. Hang on a minute.
Lost the plot. Oh, hey, say nothing.
There we go. We are back. I think we're back. I think we are. That's it. Oh. There we are.
Ta-da!
As if nothing had actually happened, ladies and
As
gentlemen.
if by magic. Really smooth, you know.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the roll call.
I don't know why I do that.
I don't know why, but it works well.
Right. Today,
Yes.
on this Wednesday evening, we have in the house of the Vobes Towers in Worthing. We have Colonel Craig Ratty, Station Master's Choice, Sean James Cameron, Sean O'Brien, Judith, Daniel Watkins, Anna Jones, Mark Burgess, Lisa L, Paul Cockerill, Glyn Horton, Sean Buttermer, Pam and Phil from Norfolk, Kerry Baldwin, Andy the Collector, Woody Jenny, KP, Steve Barker, Tracy Murphy, Simon, Ian Dance, Robert Maudsley, Anne H, Alan Sandell, Ron Langley, Lord Geoffrey Harrison, Ray of Hope, Kathy B, Audrey Forbes Hamilton, Sean Taylor, Michael White, Mr. Mocky, Elaine Whitelock, Trev's Travels by Narrowboat, Andrew Norris, Robert Braxton. We got quite a way through that list before I stumbled. I said that one. Robert Baxter, Dave Flute, who I'm assuming is Dave Ivad. Nigel Sadler, Josephine Suter, Jeff and Mandy, Jackie Lowe, Stars B, Shirley, Brian Gervin, if I've pronounced that correctly, Linda Kane, Leonard Smith, and Brainwashed Chris. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Vobes show tonight.
Now, well done. No, sorry. What I'm hearing, I'm still hearing that volcano in my ears. No, I thought that was a bit weird. I was just monitoring that, and I kept hearing this distant voice and this roar, and I was thinking, where's that coming from? And I realised I had the volcano thing going on in the background, but we could hear you. It wasn't that loud.
All right, then.
It wasn't
That's
that
right,
loud. That was brilliant. Well done, lovely Julia. That was fantastic.
What did you think, guys? Was that all right? Did that work better than me going, and just scoring for a new name?
Stars B says,
Anyone
here,
else?"
miss. Here, Miss Hartley. Stars B.
said Stars B.
She did
I
say
said
Stars B. Yeah, there we are.
Right at
Palmer
the end.
Canara Island says Roy Collin, I beg your pardon.
Oh, no, Roy wasn't on the list.
Roy wasn't on the list. Oh dear.
You were late.
Leonard Smith.
Yep, he was on the list.
He's on the list. Oh, and it's Shirley. Shirley.
Yep.
Yeah, and Woody, Jenny, Paul Cockrell, Simon.
Yep.
Yeah, well done. Brilliant. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. The lovely
question
Julie.
is,
yes.
Did I miss anybody?
Did you miss anybody? Do let us know. Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Julia. There she is, gone.
Well, that was
And
fun.
as if by magic, bing!
Ta-da!
There she is. Rejig the what's names.
I pronounced his name correctly. Thank goodness.
Who's that?
Brian Gervin.
Oh, Gervin.
Gervin.
It's a lovely name.
Is that how I pronounced it, though? That's
I
the
don't know.
question.
You missed Hugh Grection, says Mr.
No.
Murphy.
No. I'm not falling for that.
Hugh, what's that? Hugh
Don't-
Grection.
Don't. Please don't, because I will fall apart.
Hugh?
No!
Is he not somebody in front of us?
No.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Perhaps we should arrive in alphabetical order. Well, that would be great.
That would be
How would
superbly
you
helpful.
know that the person before you... And,
You wouldn't.
see.
That's why it's funny.
Oh, yeah, that is there. That's very good. We've got videos, of course, ladies and gentlemen. Ray of Hope, this is...
Guy Fishburne.
Oh, Guy Fishburne. Sorry, we apologise if we missed you.
Well, that's the first time I've seen the name pop up. Oh, well, of course I'm going to miss you if you didn't comment before now.
Yeah. See?
David Woodward, you get a mention anyway now.
Yes.
Right.
So, who else have we got? We got Ray. Ray, yes, has sent in a piece of music, which we're looking forward to hearing. Colonel Crogratty has a series of pictures of his climbing in the Peak District, which we can't wait to see. And Bernie, thank you, Bernie, he's got part 2 of Breed Church, which we will come up to in good time. The other thing I wanted to mention and chat about, unless of course you want to call in on 0793 474 6790, is about the another person sent me, and I can't remember who this was, about the vegetables, and actually it's in my email. Who was that who sent me? Was it Alan Sandell who sent me? Yes, about these vegetables. This was in the Guardian newspaper. I don't read the Guardian newspaper, but apparently a cocktail of pesticides in almost all oranges and grapes, a new UK study has found. Traces of 122 different pesticides in 12 most polluted fruit and veg products, many with links to cancer. Do you feed your children
That's almost all Jojo eats is fruit.
shop-bought fruit? This is worrying, is it not? I mean, I remember reading a book when I was at school. I've read books ever since. But in recent times, I read a book which I'm just desperately trying to... We Want Real Food, I think it was called, by the bloke who used to advise the Archers, whose name now... Graham Harvey. Didn't escape me, it came to me. Fantastic book, which warned people in the early 1990s, I think this was published, that there was too many pesticides, fungicides, insecticides, cyanides, and other nasty things that have been put on the crops in order to make them grow, make them insect resistant, and get them to harvest quickly and on time in huge numbers. And of course, in the food chain, people said, oh, it doesn't really matter. Well, if this is leading to nasty cancers and giving people illnesses, then I think it does. What can you do about it, though?
What can you do? I mean, I generally wash the fruit.
Well, it did say...
But you'd imagine that these sorts of things would seep into the fruit itself. I don't know. I don't know enough about it.
Yeah, it did say grapes apparently are the worst.
Oh, no.
The percentage of samples of multiple pesticides. There's a chart here. Let me show you this chart if you're interested.
87.2%.
Yeah, 87.2% on grapes. Oranges, 86.7% of stuff was found. Dried fruit, raisins and sultanas. I mean, these are the things typically given to kids. Herbs, pears, peas, beans, okra, whatever that is, lettuce, okra, beans, carrots, and you're all right with mangoes. If you can get a number of mangoes, where does a man go? He goes in a lot of places. But washing them isn't sufficient, it said in this article. It says in terms of washing, it should remove some residues on the skin of a product. Often will only be fungicides used to prevent rotting during the storage and transportation. However, many modern pesticides are what are called systemic, which means that they are absorbed into the plant and distributed throughout its tissues, resulting in reaching any fruits or flowers. As a result, pesticide residues are often contained within the body of the product itself, and therefore washing the surface won't remove them.
That's what I thought.
And
that's what I feared.
That is a bit of a worrying situation.
I mean, comments are suggesting buying organic and buying from farm shop. At the moment, I can afford to, you know. And you buy what you can afford, don't you? Unfortunately, you're forced into a certain direction.
Yes, I mean it's. I mean, I know I've spoken about this before, and I did have a veg box from Rutherford's. Is it Rutherford's? I'm thinking of Margaret Rutherford then. Riverford. And I did search out during the pandemic whether there was a service round here, and the ones are all booked up because everybody wanted to get their stuff. You know, they didn't trust the supermarket. Well, they didn't want to go into the supermarkets in case they rubbed shoulders with anybody carrying a virus. But at the same time, I think this is worse. In my mind, this is worse than the pandemic that we've had recently, because this is what's just going on day in, day out, and you're accruing these poisons over time. And can your body cope and get rid of them? Alan Sandell says, you are unable to take my call, Richard.
O2 says, apparently.
Oh, yes. Now, that's interesting you should say that, because... I don't think I put the...
Oh, that's right. Because I borrowed the phone.
The lovely Julia borrowed the phone because hers broke, but she's got it repaired and it's all working now. And I'd taken the SIM card out of the studio phone and lent her that. But do you know what I've forgotten to do?
Put the SIM card back in.
Put the SIM card back in. But Alan, please hold that thought.
In the meantime, Sensible Paul, no, your comment hadn't come up before. Sorry about that.
This is a delicate operation, ladies and gentlemen. I know that you'll want to see the actual act of delicacy going on. And here it is.
Would you like me to hold that?
Yes, please. And then you can hold the webcam as well. Da-da-da-da-da-dun. Oh, everyone a joker. Everyone not funny. He's not funny. There we are. Look, delicate operation. You might wonder. Oh, you might not. There we go. And it goes into the little slot. Oh, bother.
I'm going to wash your mouth out and your brain out with soap. Go find a nice bottle brush.
Sure, that's in. No, I mustn't force it, Mrs.
Apparently frozen again.
Frozen again?
One viewer says so.
No, it's going out. Look at that. I can see it.
Oh, yeah.
I may have put it on the wrong side, Mr. Mannering. There we go, look. Oh, it's going to be so worth it. This is a technology show tonight. Alan Sandell, give us a call on 0793 474670.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've we've frozen again. How exciting is it?
Very strange.
This is the statues show if you can play at being statues, then that's marvellous. Hang on a minute.
Apparently it froze when we switched to the webcam.
Yes, I think there's a technical... I mustn't switch to the webcam. Remind me not to switch to the webcam ever again. Just hold that for 1 second. I've just got to rejig the papers. We're having a nice technical day today, so it's all good fun. What did I do last time?
I don't know.
No, I've got to find the other camera. Hang on a minute. Where's the other camera? Sing them a song of sixpence.
Pocket full of rye.
That it. 4 and 20 blackbirds baked in the pie. When the pie was open, the pie... There we are. Look, I've done it. Come out of there. There we go. Sorry about that. There's always some sort of little hitch on that. We don't normally have that hitch. Anyway, the phone is now ready for Alan Sandow. Do give us a tinkle, if you wouldn't mind. It's all up. It should be up and running. Alan says, I think you shoved it in the wrong way, mate. What? Shall I try ringing the phone myself? I'm going to try ringing it.
Let it go.
What's the number? 0793. This is thrilling content. This is 0793 4746
Let it go.
790.
You'll never see me cry.
Even that's saying I can't be picked.
What have you done? What have you done?
Shall we go to a... We're going to go to a video. And whilst the video is on, I'm going to attempt to fix the phone. We'll be back, hopefully, after this. This is Bernie down at Breed Church. This is the second part of his examination. Thank you, Bernie, for getting us out of this hole.
But anyway, to get back to what I was saying, one of the tales, bearing in mind that Sir Goddard was a very, very pious man, and I think one of the reasons why he was knighted was for his work with the poor. It's a nice stained glass window up there. They began to spread rumours that he was a giant ogre. Now, he was a big man, there's no doubt about that. And he became known as the child-eating ogre of Breed, who had to have a child every day for one of his meals. So I think over a period of time people must have become a bit scared of it, though people who knew him obviously didn't believe a word of it, and that's why he was buried in the church here. But, you know, these things kind of stick, and they were perpetuated over the next century or two when smuggling really took a hold here. It was said that no metal or anything like that could kill him. So the rumour goes that he was killed with a wooden saw on the Groaning Bridge inside Breed Place, with the children of East Sussex on one side of the saw and the children of West Sussex on the other. And they say you can see his blood to this day. Of course, what they refer to as blood is the reddy colour of the water because of the iron in it. But of course, in those days, a lot of people didn't know that. That's rather nice. I do like these old entrances to churches. I think they're... and the herringbone brickwork. Very nice indeed. But anyway, Sir Goddard buried in there, and we know now, of course, that he wasn't the evil person that the smugglers made him out, but an interesting legend nonetheless. Well, eventually Breed Place passed out of the hands of the Oxenbridge family and into the hands of the Fruins, who had it for about 2 centuries, and then over the years it began to deteriorate and was sold on yet again. Interesting to note, though, one of the Fruin girls was a cousin of Winston Churchill. and she has a sculpture also inside the church that I can't get into. But there was a disastrous fire there in, I think, 1979, and it was left as a burnt out shell. It has since been restored, but not at the hands of the Fruin family. And as I say, there is now no way that you can have access. It's privately owned, unless you know the people, of course. This is a memorial chair, and what a lovely view. Excuse me. Do you know, this morning had every promise of being a sunny morning, but once again the mist has descended. Excuse me. But there's a lovely view, look, over the Breed Valley.
There we are, the church and the grim story that goes along with it. Thank you so much, Bernie. You got us out of a bit of a pickle. The phone is working now, ladies and gentlemen. I apologise for that. I kept putting in the SIM card the wrong way round, and I did it about 3 times. And I kept ringing it, and it said, no service, no service. But Alan, it's working now. So, stand by for nonsense. Let's hope he hasn't lost the incentive. But that was brilliant. Thank you so much, Bernie. Lovely to see your videos. Don't forget, if you want to send in a little video, give us a bit of light relief during the show, do send it in to richard@vobes.com and send it via WeTransfer. They'll ask you for the email address, and that's very easy to shove in. You bung in your own, and then I get notification. I can download it before the show and play it in, which would be lovely. We have Colonel Cragratty and Ray a little bit later on. Did I hear that go, or is that mine?
I'm trying to work out which phone was buzzing then.
Something was buzzing. Andrew Norris says, great continuation of your series, Bernie. Love the background story of the ogre. Interesting history. Thanks for sharing your knowledge and
those amazing views.
Sorry, I put that in a position where I can't actually read it very easily.
Lord Geoffrey Harrison is asking that when we were walking along the beach in Shoreham, I assume, what were those little cubby holes for? I don't know what those little doors were for.
I think it was just an art installation, really. Somebody said that they were, what's those people in Lord of the Rings? Hobbit doors. Here we go. We have a caller. Let's assume it's Alan Sandell. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Lord Richard and the lovely Lady Julia. How are you?
We are lovely. Thank you so much for calling in and reminding us that the phone wasn't working.
We are all the better for hearing your lovely voice.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
Technology on a shoestring. Yes.
I wasn't going to call in on the subject of the pesticide email I sent you. I was going to call in about boots, but maybe covering both of them.
Yeah, do, please.
It's appalling that we've only just found out about the pesticides.
Yes.
Why are these things not checked? Why are imports, which grapes and oranges are, not checked on a regular basis?
Well, it is strange that it's come up. I reckon it has been known. As I said, I read this book by Graham Harvey that alerted us to this was the practice going on. And although everyone says that these pesticides are safe, I don't, it's how much are you absorbing?
Yes, well, give me a pint of pesticide and I'll tell you.
Exactly. But what can you do about it? I mean, unless you've got enough people saying we're not buying the stuff, which isn't going to happen, we're forced into taking it.
Yeah, because poor people can't afford the premium you pay for organic food.
No.
And when I was living in America, you could buy organic vegetables, but there was actually no definition of what organic meant. So they have just the same problem. There was an outbreak of salmonella over there when I was living there, and first of all they had to decide what vegetable did it come from, or what pork pie or whatever, and they found it was tomatoes. And then they found it was Mexico. But then the next problem was what farm? Because obviously in Mexico they weren't checking tomatoes from which farm or another. And eventually, after weeks and weeks and weeks, they found that it was a particular farm in Mexico which had dirty water.
Right. Oh, right.
But it took weeks.
It took weeks.
Yes. I mean, people can die from salmonella, and they do. But, yeah, so, we need to check what we're importing on a regular basis, I think.
Yes. No, well, yes. I mean, I think the food needs to be checked, but does it need to have all this stuff in there? Is this just because we've in a globalist world and we're no longer growing stuff locally, and we're having to grow stuff at such a huge production, of which I don't know what the figure is, but so much is wasted.
Oh yes, yeah, particularly in everywhere, but particularly in England, bananas are the biggest one. But yeah, I mean, farmers have been able, I think it's over a period of 50 years, to increase food production by 50%, and this is how they do it.
Yes,
it was necessary.
All right.
Eat less. No.
Eat less is not a... Sorry, I'm just fiddling with my microphone because I can hear that it's not working terribly well. Yeah, eat less is most definitely good advice, because people tend to, on average, eat far too much, and far too much stuff that's not good for them. But it seems, looking at that report, that even if you try to eat healthily, you're stymied because they're covered in all sorts of rubbish that you don't want.
Yeah, indeed.
Stars B made a comment just there. Did you see that? Food is checked and the UK are aware these are safe levels of pesticide in food, apparently. And who's to say that's safe? I mean, how safe... I mean, if you didn't have any pesticide, that would be safer, wouldn't it not?
Yeah, probably, yes.
Indeed.
Yeah. Still, I'm lucky. I eat bananas and grapefruit, and they're all right, and apples, and they're not bad.
Where do you get yours from?
Oh, anywhere I can find. It's very difficult to find pink or red grapefruit in this country, but I'm.
Well, that's true, of course.
Bananas are everywhere. Yeah, but I was going to call about boots.
Yes,
about having medical advice from people who are not doctors. There was a system in Texas, lots of, because if you went to the hospital emergency room, you sat there for 4 hours or all night. So there were a lot of emergency clinics which set up, and you could book in online, and they'd call you when they were ready for you, which was much better. And you were seen by nurse practitioners mostly, which were people who were halfway to being a doctor.
Right.
And I had a fall on a Saturday, had some pain on a Sunday afternoon, went to one of these emergency clinics with a nurse practitioner, and she examined me and said, well, you've bruised your ribs. I'll give you a note to not lift anything heavy for 5 days. Oh, fair enough. And then she said, do you want an x-ray? And I said, is that included in the price? She said, yes. And she came back and said, you've got a broken rib.
Oh, blimey.
And do you want the note? I said, yeah, give me the note. And then later that night, I got a phone call from their regional medical officer who said, can you breathe?
Do you know, I've been breathing all my life.
He said, you got 5 broken ribs and a partially collapsed lung. Can you get to hospital?
My goodness.
So,
I mean, it sounds like it sounds like you'd be better off if you hadn't gone to these places, because you wouldn't have known about any of this and you'd have been fine.
So, anyway,
or maybe not.
I went to the local hospital, which I knew very well.
Yeah.
Because my job was delivering flower arrangements, and I went there almost every other day.
Right.
And
and
they X-rayed me again and said, and the doctor said, I'm going to call downtown to get you transferred to the North Texas Trauma Unit in Fort Worth. And he came back and said, they told me I have to operate now. This is a doctor in a maternity hospital, and staff running around everywhere trying to find tubes and bottles and duct tape.
Yeah, a bit of gaffer tape would probably hold you together. I mean, sounds ridiculous. So what your point was, though, that are you going to be seen in boots by a medically
Someone less than a doctor, yes.
someone less
No.
than a doctor, because obviously
the answer is no.
is that what it is? You're just not going to be seen. I mean, I thought they must have, if they're going to offer the service and they're calling them doctors or general practitioners, they would have to be general practitioners. They couldn't just be the pharmacist who's just going to say,
No.
you've got a pain in you, because how would they know? They wouldn't know. I mean, even a GP, it's by having, one imagines that by having a practice in which you have 50 or more clients, or patients rather, that you are continually familiarising yourself with all the problems that people have. Whereas a pharmacist is only aware of the people who have certain pills, but they may not always know why a certain pill is prescribed, because some pills will be prescribed for several different things. The same pill can be just, some of these sleeping pills can be also given to people with depression. They wouldn't necessarily know the case, because you don't get the case. You just give him 2 of these to take every night without water.
And they don't have access to your medical records, do they?
No.
I mean, of course, if you walk into a chemist and say, I think I've got athlete's foot, they say, well, you can buy some athlete's foot medication.
Yes. I mean, if people think they know, I mean, the trouble is people are going to Dr. Google for the answers these days, aren't they?
Sean,
I'm afraid so.
Oh, who was it? Someone said, Michael White says the person probably Googles your symptoms. Sean James Cameron says, I had to explain to my doctor how to turn his computer on at the start of the appointment.
Yeah, that's that is a bit worrying, is it? I mean, when I had my eye problem, and I was almost a year in with the local Worthing eye doctors, and they had a series of doctors and then the consultant. And eventually, whatever they were giving me wasn't working. So I went to see the consultant. I said, look, this isn't working. It's really bad. I need to work. My eye is really painful. I can't work very easily. And so I saw the consultant, and the consultant sat down and then typed in what one of his lesser doctors had said was the problem with my eye and acanthamoeba. Keratitis, and he typed that into Google and started to read about it. Whereupon I turned around and I said, look, no disrespect to you, but I don't have any confidence in you if you're the consultant and you're looking at good.
Well done, sir.
And he said, right. And it was almost as if I'd pressed a button. He said, I'm transferring you therefore to Moorfields. And I said, I'm not casting any aspersions, but you're looking. He says, no. I don't want you as a patient. You're now going to go to Moorfields. And actually, I went under somebody who was a specialist in acanthamoeba, Dr. Dart, and who was, very, very good.
Which you'd have thought should have been the first option to do in the first place anyway.
But it meant getting on the train every week and every other week over a 4-year period, which cost an absolute, 50 quid a time, because they always said, can you get here by 9 o'clock, please? It's like, that's rush hour. That's 50 quid return every other week.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. I mean,
almost as painful as the eye.
I know. My bank balance wasn't very happy.
Yeah, the British expatriate groups in the USA had lots of debates about the quality of medical care in the UK and versus the USA, and I think the general conclusion was that if you're about to die, then the NHS is pretty good.
That really shouldn't be so funny.
If it's something which isn't immediate death, if you're not treated, then it's absolutely flipping awful.
Yeah. I think that a lot of people are going to be going private.
I think I'll have to.
In the end, because especially at the moment, if the waiting list is as long as everybody claims, then people are going to just turn and say, I can't cope with this. I'm going to go private. Now, I don't
have already.
And and I just wonder if going private would bring the price down as competition starts to grow. The more people that go private, that you start to lower the price so you can attract more people.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about price. Yes. Things don't go down in price very much, do they?
No, but when you've got things that, when you've got a prototype for something, like a new phone, the new phones are always expensive. But as that technology is now easier and more people are buying it, it becomes lower. It finds its proper price area, that what people will pay. And I just wonder whether that rich people can go private because they've got the money. But if you've got a lot of poorish people and doctors are going, actually, look, they've got loads of patients. We haven't got so many over here. We're going to lower our prices to attract people in.
Well, apparently the government bought a lot of space and access to private facilities during the COVID pandemic, but NHS doctors don't want to refer patients to the private sector. Now, when my son had his wrist badly smashed in a sporting accident, the NHS doctor gave him almost no time at all, and my daughter was very worried. So I said, "Well, go to a private doctor." And the doctor that my son saw in the evening was a colleague of the NHS doctor he saw in the first place. So doctors are working privately after hours to make ends meet.
That would be an irony, of course, would be that you go to the NHS almost as you've just described, that you see Dr. X, whoever he is, and he says, whatever, and then you go, right, and he says, we'll treat you with this and what have you, and you think, no, I'm not having that. You go private, and then you end up with the very same doctor who says, I'm glad you've come private, because we'll do this for you, and it'll cost you that. Because
what the private doctor said was, well, I wouldn't worry so much about the shattered bones. He said it's the fact that the nerves have been damaged, which wasn't something the NHS doctor ever volunteered.
No, well, because the NHS are going to, they've probably got some sort of tariff associated with everything they do, and they think, well, this person, we'll just get away with doing this on him. Whereas if you go to the private doctor, they may sting you for a lot more money, or they may be more realistic and say, actually, we want you to come back. A good businessman doesn't want to fleece you. He wants you to come back. Now, they may do that in a way that they don't actually repair you, so you're continually coming back. That's one way of doing it. Or they may do a really good job, so you go, do you know what, Doctor Who was really good, and you recommend your friends, don't you? I mean, if you do a good job, the news is much better than if you do a bad job.
There's a few interesting comments up
Let's
here.
get the comments.
Kerry Baldwin says, had an eye problem at the beginning of the year. My optician was brilliant. Told me what it was. NHS consultant was useless.
There you go.
And Elaine Whitelock says, that's the trouble with everything today. Reports written based on other reports. Robert Baxter says, they used to refer to textbooks in the olden days. Maybe Googling is the modern equivalent. Which is funny, though, because as patients, we're told not to Google our symptoms.
The thing was, he may have legitimately been reminding himself of the condition for me. It just didn't look good from where I sat that the consultant was going to Google. If he'd turned his monitor so I couldn't see it, I would never have known.
You would have thought he'd have checked that before you entered the room, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, it came up in the conversation, I think. But or if they had some screen that the NHS did a deal with Google or whatever that just said NHS search bar, and then, so it sort of disguised the fact that it was Google. Because from where I sat, it just made him look like he didn't know what he was talking about. But he may well legitimately just gone, just for the sake of, what is it again? Oh, yeah, of course, I know this. Although he did refer to the medication as the stuff they put in swimming pools.
Nice.
And I thought, I don't know.
Chlorine.
It's chlorine. And I thought, I'm not sure I want that. But it was chlorhexidine that they gave me, which is a chlorine-based substance.
Sean James Cameron also says, my allotment neighbour, who was a doctor, told me that 80% of our work is guesswork. Lost confidence in doctors from then. Not surprised.
I know that, what's her name? Kim Murden's husband is a doctor, and he retired. And when we went to see Kim, Kim said that her husband was so pleased to have retired because he no longer had to kill people. And he didn't mean literally kill people,
obviously.
but he meant that he had to dish out this stuff that patients were expecting to fix them, rather than saying, why don't you eat properly and take some exercise? And half the problems wouldn't have been there.
Nigel Sadler says the GPs in Worthing are next to useless. They dish out the same combination of pills in different quantities to all of their elderly patients. That's not good. Starsby says Googling isn't the problem. The source of information is. Ensure you are looking at researched sources and not just the Wikipedia page. That's good.
Well, exactly. I mean, that's what kind
be aware of.
where I was going with. The doctor may have been trying to find the right source, but it made me feel that I had no confidence in him. You still there, Alan?
Yeah, still listening. Yes, if I go back to the other version, then I'll be out of time.
Yes, that's very true. You will. So what will you do?
I'll be bifocal.
Yeah. So what will you do? Will you go private? Do you reckon?
I will have to, I think, for a neurological problem.
Right.
Because the waiting lists are phenomenal.
Yeah.
And, I don't think that a local doctor can prescribe what I'm taking, which was, I left America with about 6 months' supply, which, having switched away from a medication they give away like Smarties in the USA, but which is a Class C drug here.
Oh, right. So
Yes.
do you think that we, as a modern 21st century, beg your pardon, human race, have come to take health for granted? That we just now think, oh, well, if I get a bit ill on this, I don't really need to worry about my body. I can just pop a pill. The doctors will just give me something.
That is absolutely one way that the pharmaceutical companies have made a phenomenal amount of money, which is that people want to be 21 forever.
Yes. And generally...
It doesn't work like that.
No, and I mean, I'm sure all these companies aren't conspiring with one another, although when you think about it, it seems like they must be. The pharmaceuticals want more people to take as many tablets as possible because that's a way of making money, and the fast food companies want you to eat horrible, fast, but sugary, salty food so that you can keep coming back because it's tasty, but actually not very good for you. And yet, if you eat fresh, local produced food, it's a bit boring. It might seem a bit boring, or it's more effort to do that, but actually you probably live longer and live much less troubled life.
Well, I'm sure there's much more money to be made out of testosterone treatments than there is to be made out of a cure for malaria.
Yes, that's it.
That was another big thing in Texas, was testosterone clinics. Cough up $1,000 a month.
But when it comes to your health, would you... I mean, this is the thing. When you are in pain, you're going to pay, aren't you? If you can't get relief in any other way, if it's not free at the point, you're going to moan and moan and moan. But eventually, you're going to go, sod this, I will pay.
If you can, yes.
If you can. If you can't.
If you're poor in any country, then you can't pay. So
but then you hear it, you hear of families of people who've got children, and their children have got pretty almost incurable diseases, and they'll sell their house and they'll do anything to save that child. And some of the stories,
sell a kidney.
Pardon? And
sell a kidney.
Sell a kidney. Yeah. I mean, in other countries, people will sell limbs, wouldn't they? You hear these stories of people who will go, yeah, you can have. I'll sell you my eye. I've got two. You can, take it out. People used to do that in the old days with teeth.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh yeah, can I have my teeth? How much did I get? Half a crown. There you go.
We're back in those days.
Yeah, it's very frightening. Thank you, Alan, for the call.
Okay, very good.
Catch up with you soon.
Nice to talk to you. Will do. Cheers. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.
Now.
Alan Sandell there, raising the stakes. Mr. Mocky says, I stopped eating sugar and carbs a year ago, solved my knackered knee pain and tiredness within a week. Problem is, no bread, no potatoes, nothing that grows under the ground.
Blimey.
So, yeah, a bit extreme. But if it works, that's the thing. But people don't want to give up these things. They've just become so dependent on it. And it is hard work. I remember giving up sugar in tea when I was 15, 16, when I was at work. everybody else, nobody else at work had sugar in tea. I was the only one that did. And so there was very little sugar in the place. And of course they would go, "Oh, Richard, you don't need sugar in." And so I gave it a whirl, and it took a long time, but actually I got used to it. It was an acquired taste. Now I couldn't have sugar in my tea because it's far too tasty. I know you do.
Yeah, I haven't broken myself of that yet. Not completely. Well,
But I had to just, I just had to go, right, okay, I'm not having the sugar, and just kept going. But I know that some people are better at that than others.
yeah, like you are marvellous at just deciding that you're going to do something and doing it.
And of course, I don't understand. I don't have the empathy to completely understand why people can't.
Yeah, you can't understand. Can you? You just-
I don't.
Just,
I mean,
just don't do it. Just don't.
just
have
don't do it.
Like,
This is the thing with smoking and taking sugar and fast foods. I don't do any of those things really. I mean, occasionally, okay, Bonnie has a go at me for having chips every now and again because they're in the video.
But I'm started having a go. You know.
But I'm not having chips all the time. I'm having chips occasionally, and when it's occasional, it's fine, isn't it? It's in moderation. But if I was having chips every night, and the thing about the chips is it's the fat that it's in, and I always worry now because I've given up, or tried to as much as possible, rapeseed oil, sunflower oil, or any of these seed oils. The only oil I will permit is olive oil, and for frying stuff in or sautéing things. And so much so I'm now, you like Lurpak as a spreadable butter. But if you look
I
at
also
that,
like it as a butter as well.
yeah, but if you look at the spreadable one, it's got, I can't remember which one of the seed oils in there, but it's got that. And I go, oh, I can't have that now. So I don't. And in the end, you just get used to going, it's okay not to have everything else. I don't need that. I'd actually rather be healthy than pleasured. But that's me. I know I'm unusual in that, and other people struggle in that.
It's an interesting comment. Graham Cass says Amesbury Archer, which I'm assuming is some sort of mummified ancient body, Bronze Age, there you go, had his health treatment tattooed down his arm.
Had his health
Treatment tattooed down his arm.
What do you mean by?
As in, probably has, I don't know, X number of drops of whatever herb or something. I don't know.
Never heard of that. Does it say do not resuscitate?
No, but tattooing one's body is something that, tribally humans have done for a long time.
Maybe it
To
just meant.
infer lots of
Maybe it
different
just
information.
meant we are the cabbage eaters. As in, and people have gone, oh, that's his health treatment. No, that might be just how he's identified himself. We are the cabbage eaters. We eat the cabbages. Don't touch our cabbages. We come for you.
Smiling and nodding.
Yes. CBD oil is the only oil for me, says Flappy Goose. I don't know what that is.
Cannabidiol oil.
Oh, is it? It's not Castrol GTX.
No.
Do you remember that?
No, it's
Superlube.
a derivative.
Superlube.
It's a derivative of the cannabis plant.
Oh, is it?
CBD
I see.
oil, yeah.
Ernie says 2 weeks ago I called my surgery after being bitten by a Blandford fly up Hambledon Hill. It had swollen up into a huge blister. I was asked to come in that day.
Ooh, hope that wasn't too painful.
Yeah.
What's a Blandford fly anyway?
Well,
Never
it
heard
comes
of
from Blandford Forum. The flies round there. Oh, dreadful. Ever since Blandford Forum caught fire in 1762 or whenever it was. Those flies have been everywhere. Nigel Sadler says, Elaine Whitlock says, willpower is not easy. That is true. And Mr. Mocky said, oh, I've read that. Andrew Norris says, Tim Roth came to Croatia to have his cataracts done. Same clinic as me. He's a wealthy chap, but had greater faith in the clinics here in Croatia. That is, that's amazing, isn't it? Interesting debate. Thank you very much. Do send in clippings, ladies and gentlemen. If you find something, send in clippings, not nail clippings.
So what kind of clippings?
Newspaper clippings, of course.
see.
If you see an article, a newspaper clipping, it can be a link. Send it to richard@vobes.com. Put in the subject line, Vobe Show, Send us a link. If you think that you found a little interesting article that we can discuss and talk about on the show, it'd be fantastic. It's a lovely thing for the community to grow with. Feel we should show.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a segue for the climbing video.
Oh, but first, some Kellogg's
Here's a phone call.
phone calls. Let's find out who that is. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show.
It's Sensible here.
Hello, Sensible.
Hello.
How are you, Paul?
All right, thanks. Just the thing about the NHS.
Yes.
Several decades ago, there was a big thing about doctors being drunk and all that.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember how long ago it was, but the big thing on the news about, some doctors being drunk.
On duty?
And I must admit, I was up Criffle, which is a hill up in Scotland. I fell, my foot went thump, about 3 foot or something, and I broke the bones in my heel.
Oh, nasty.
Went to the hospital, and he said, right, come back, tomorrow, whenever it was. So I went back, and there was about 3 of us sitting, and he said to the chap beside me, oh, your leg will be fine. He says, no, it's not my leg, doctor, it's my arm. And he spoke to somebody else. And then he said to me, well, why are you here? I said, well, you asked me to come in.
Oh,
he says, well, we'll have to have an operation. Would you believe I didn't go for it? I didn't fancy it.
No. I mean, yes. So you think he was drunk?
It possibly wasn't, but it was a time when on the news there was these things about doctors being under stress and drinking and that,
And I'm sure I'm sure nothing has changed, that doctors are still under stress and that they work these long hours. And a lot of people turn to alcohol to get them through the evening. And I think that a lot of people, my mum was an alcoholic and I grew up with an alcoholic, so I've seen what it can do. But I think there are plenty of people who every day will have a glass of wine, 1 or 2 glasses of wine, and say, oh, it's fine. I don't have a problem. I just have 1 or 2 and then I stop. But I think that if you can't get through an evening in a week for 1 or 2 nights without having a glass of wine or a scotch or gin and tonic or whatever it is, you have a problem, because it may be something that relaxes you, but it isn't it's not like water, because it has an effect. And I'm sure that over time that will do you no favours.
Yeah, I think you're right. It doesn't matter how little it is. If you have to have it every night, then, yeah, it must have an effect on you.
I remember watching Terry and June in the 70s, and I've watched them since on YouTube when I was interested in catching up some old programs. And one of the things they're always doing, coming in, Terry comes in and June then says, oh, would you like a gin and tonic? And it was just part of life that everyone would come home and have a drink because work had been stressful. And instead of it being one of those things that you think, oh, wouldn't it be nice to once in a blue moon have a beer or a drink, that people take this every single day and it becomes ritual. And so it's like, oh, it's just something we do, instead of, yeah, but could you not do it? What would happen if you didn't do it? Oh, that wouldn't feel right.
Yeah.
Sean James Cameron says, I can't get through a week without watching a Vobes video. Now that's a problem.
Yeah, that's an addiction. That is an evil addiction.
And
I have another one as well. I actually have MS. So I got taken into hospital where they were going to, look for it, and I had to have a lumbar puncture. So
just tell us what is a lumbar puncture?
It's where they put a needle in your spine between the vertebrae.
Right, okay.
Nobody told me that I should have drunk plenty before I had it, because when you have it, do you get a headache? It's awful.
Right.
But that wasn't the thing. They said, right, okay, we're going to give you a lumbar puncture. So they undone my pyjama top, pulled it up, put the needle in, the first, because you have 2 needles. You put the first needle in, and then they said, oh, we need to take your pajama jacket off because we can't get it right. But don't move because we've got the needle in your spine.
Oh.
So do not move.
Oh my God.
So they struggled to get my pajama jacket off, went to put the second needle in and said, oh, we haven't got the right size needle on the ward. We've got to go to another ward to find the right size needle.
Oh my God, this is like amateur night at the hospital.
Yeah, I must admit, I thought they had red noses and that on, you know.
Yeah, was it comedy relief, whatever it's called?
Yeah,
that is awful. Did they?
I can laugh about it now, but
Yes.
boy, to think, you know, if I'd moved, I could have
Paralyze
paralysed myself.
That is really serious. That's not cool.
Unrelated, and not really incompetence or anything. But when I had my eye extracted after 4 years of pain and problems and 4 cataract transplants that I had. Sorry, Linda. Say this to Linda Kane. She hates
Cataract transplants.
not cataract.
Cornea.
Cornea transplants. Linda Kane doesn't like all this. She's putting her fingers in her ears.
Well, I was starting to get queasy with the spine thing.
But when my eye was taken out as an operation at Moorfields Eye Hospital, apparently I stopped breathing on the table when they were operating. I had a bit of a heart problem, and I woke up. They did the eye thing, and they sort of got everything running, but they were a bit worried. Anyway, I woke up and found these 2 women paramedics looking over me, and I was sort of a bit woozy. It was about 3 a.m. or something, and they looked down. They said, "It's all right. We're going to take you to hospital." And I thought, well, I'm in a hospital. And they said, no, we're taking you to a different hospital where you can have your heart monitored, because this is an eye hospital and we don't do hearts. And it was just so surreal as I'd woken up a bit woozy from this thing and going, no, it's a hospital, but we don't do hearts here, so we've got to take you to another. Because again, I can laugh about it afterwards. But you think, well, hang on a minute. If something happens to you on the board, what did you call it? The table?
Operating table.
And they're not geared up for it. It's like, oh God, his heart stopped. What do we do? We only do eyes.
Yeah.
And
the thing is, you've got to get to it from one hospital to the other, so you've got to be in an ambulance where something could have happened as well.
Luckily, mine was at night, and so there was no traffic. And there was plenty of diesel around as well.
Thankfully.
Thankfully. So, sounds like you've had a rough time, Sensible Paul, but thank you so much for sharing it with us. How extraordinary.
Yeah. Thanks for these programmes anyway. Oh, by the way, that one that you done in your home the other day, I'm not sure about the Y fronts in your kitchen, the white bit hanging up.
Yeah, I watched the edit of that and thought, I wish I'd removed those. And then I was filming a bit today and I thought, oh God, I've still got them. You know when it is you hang your washing in the kitchen? I mean, I'm sure everybody does this. You don't notice these things yourself because...
Excuse the rally driver out the front.
Cool, blimey, that was loud. You don't notice these things because they're all around you. And it's only when you see it on camera you go, oh, God, it's a bit late now. Let's hope nobody noticed. And thanks for bringing it up. I'm probably wearing them now.
Well, why front not?
Why front not? Da-dum-bum.
Anyway, I'll let you get on with another video because I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Sensible Paul.
Thanks,
Look after
Richard,
yourself.
Julia.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Ah, there we are. How brilliant to end a call on my Y-fronts. It's quite handy having your Y-fronts hanging up there because sometimes if you run out of a tea towel and you want to take something out of the oven, it's to hand. And why not?
Why front not?
Elaine Whitlock says, yes, alcohol can become a dependency. Graham Cass says, we're all creatures of habit. And Colonel Cragratty has said something to somebody else. Bonnie H says, hospitals are imperfect, like everyone and every organisation. I'm not sure we expect it.
Why we expect it.
Well, I suppose we do expect them when it's dealing with people's health, and it can be a question of life and death or taking out the wrong eye or the wrong limb. We do expect them to be as pretty good as they can get, don't we?
Several people have been asking, do you still have the eye?
The eye, I was asked by Dr. Dart when I had the eye removed if he could keep it in his office and put it on in a jar. And
I
think
wonder if it's still sitting there on his shelf.
I think
watching
he's
him.
using it as a
Actually, that one.
paperweight. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show.
Sean in London.
Hello,
Hello, Sean.
How are you?
I was just about to ask the same question just as I pressed the dial. But
You were going to ask the same thing.
Have you still got the
Have
eye?
I still got the? Do you know if I had the eye, it would have been in several videos.
Block your ears, Linda.
I would have loved to have had that, but it was bloodshot and nasty looking. But Dr. Dart wanted to have it so he could examine it and see, learn as much from it. And if I concentrate very hard of a night in a dark room, I can connect to the eye, and I can see him in the office. If only if he'd taken my mouth as well, because I could have spoken to him. But that's so stupid. How are you doing? You've got a nasty cold, haven't you not, Sean?
I've got a bit of. But why does the coughing and the sneezing get worse when it's in the dark? Well, that's a question.
Is it because you're lying down and relaxing more, and it's so?
I've been on the bed. I've been on the bed since. Well, I was on the bed last night and I rolled over and the bed collapsed.
Oops, are you okay?
It's a good job because the cat usually sleeps under the bed.
Oh.
Right.
Maybe they sensed something like the ice in the Titanic, because I was wondering why the cat's sleeping up on top of the windowsill this evening. That's why. Bang, and I was on the floor.
Kerry Baldwin says, and I've just seen this, my spleen was in a jar at Hammersmith Teaching Hospital 40 years ago.
That's incredible.
Dear, oh dear.
Apparently, there's an exploding eye in the 007 film.
Oh, what, the new James
Bonnie,
Bond?
yeah.
An exploding eye. Always good. Hope it wasn't one of mine.
What I did like when I went to the doctor about 3 years ago is I explained my issue. He then clapped his hands together, pointed at me, and went, I've got that. I know what that is.
I've got that. What were you going to say, Julia?
Andrew Norris says, why would we not expect hospitals to be near perfect? These people are trained. If we go to a solicitor, do we accept bad advice from an accountant to fudge our figures?
No.
Good point.
That's very true.
Colonel Cragraddy says, usually coughs and colds are worse at night time. Yeah. Isn't it because when you lie down, it closes up your windpipe and stuff a bit?
Yeah, could be.
I've been on my back.
You want to have a lovely hot chili. That's the only way to get rid of cold. I recommend that. A very spicy hot chili, and it will do you wonders.
Oh, and
What do you think?
Sorry, what?
I'm just asking Sean. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I've been on the limp sips today.
Yeah, they're no good. Hot spicy chili.
I tend to have one at this time of year, and then I have another one in the spring.
Yeah.
And I think it's because I misjudge when you need to change from summer clothes to the winter.
It could, yeah.
And I get it wrong.
You get it wrong.
Days.
I think we all get
That's
that
when
wrong. I mean, I went out today and I was going, oh, what should I wear? The sun is shining, but there's a cold. And then, luckily, I put this rather lovely tank top on, Mary Hammond tank top, available at exclusive. Yeah, it turned out I was all right. But if I'd put another jumper on, I'd have been too hot. We better move on, Sean.
I caught this as I was walking down the Worthing prom last Friday.
Yeah, probably. You get a lot
I
of
was on the prom in t-shirt and trousers, a pair of shoes, and that's all.
You should have popped in to see me and sat by the SE. You'd have been all right.
Well, that's what I'll have to do the next time. Maybe pick up a bag of chips and a sausage.
Ah, yes. You can't go wrong with a Worthing sausage and a Worthing
Or a
bag
Sussex.
of chips. A Sussex sausage. Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
Look after.
I'm sure Ray of Hope could do a song called Worthing Sausage.
I'm sure he's working
Can't
on it.
go wrong with a Worthing sausage deep inside your stomach.
Oh, bless. Anyway, take care, Sean. Lovely to talk to you.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Ta-ra, bye.
He sounds healthy, doesn't he? That's Sean James Cameron. Thank you very much for the messages. We have 2 more videos to go to, which we shall do straight away. It's fantastic, all the contributions. It's been brilliant. But Colonel Craig Ratty is up next with a slideshow of his stills climbing, hanging on, just hanging on at the Peak District from his recent
Premature
endeavours.
button pressing.
Yeah, premature button pressing, which is one of those things that you can suffer from. I understand. You can see a doctor
Especially
about that.
on a Gremlin Field show like this.
Yes. Right, Pete, take it away. There you go. How about that's gripping stuff? Quite literally gripping stuff.
See what you did there?
Did you see it?
Yeah, I did.
Marvellous. I'm so thrilled. Yeah, we're running out of time, actually. We just come over time, so we're going to go straight into Ray's to give us a bit of a light-hearted end to the show. It's been a fantastic show. Thank you very much for contributing and all of that. Pam asked me a question, and I didn't get to see it. I just saw it in while the video was going on. She says, does having my eye removed impair my sight much, or am I used to it? I am used to it. It does take a bit of time if you put a hand over or close one eye. And try and touch, your phone. If you put something directly in front of you, it makes you think that the thing is closer than it is. You need the two eyes. But generally, I've forgotten that I would never want to lose an eye, and I would love to have it back. I know I can never have that back, but it hasn't really. I'd rather lose one eye than a leg.
Fair enough.
To be mobile and to still see, but with one eye, would be is still okay. Anyway,
it's quite funny because you can forget that he can't see you. Like when you're looking forward, you can't see me, can you? Apart from
when I'm looking there, you are not.
Can't see me.
You are not even in the. Yeah, I can see it in the monitor that you're doing those things.
Oh, yeah.
And if we're driving, if I'm driving and you're in the passenger seat, I can be talking to you and you can be scowling and doing all sorts of things.
You could be chatting away and I could be going... And you wouldn't know. And
I wouldn't know. Jonathan Fox says, do cows look bigger with one eye? Most definitely. Yeah, they look huge. In fact, they've grown. That's why I'm so scared of them, that I'm in the field with them, because they look 10 foot tall. And that's the truth. Let's go and play out with Ray of Hope. Thank you so much for this. This is an old goody one. A Welsh one. Ladies and gentlemen, you probably recognise it. Probably needs no introduction. Thank you. Good word. And here it is. Ray, take it away.
This is a lovely old folk song from the Emerald Isle. Hope you all enjoy it.
There we go. Danny boy, lovely Welsh anthem.
Slight faux pas.
The Emerald Isle, of course. But I missed that when I previewed the video, and I went, "Oh, it's Danny Boy. That's Welsh, isn't it?" Because I thought I went into Irish, into whatever. I thought I went to Farmer Piles then. I thought it was Danny Boy because the Welsh people go Danny Boy, oh, Danny Boy.
Yes, boyo.
Yes, that's what I just always assumed that was a Welsh song. Just goes to show I know nothing, and I've been shown up again. I know nothing. Ray, brilliant stuff. Thank you so much for that. It's an education on this show.
Bonnie was asking Ray if you could play some 007 theme songs next time, maybe.
Oh, by the way, I have monetized the channel to try and bring in a little cash.
Hence the adverts.
So yeah, hence the adverts. So I can pay the lovely Julia. Last week's show, it came up that there was a copyright claim on Ray's music. I can't remember what it was, because they said it was a cover version of something famous. So I had to mute it after the show. I had to mute it out. If you played it back and went, wait a minute, we can't hear it. The one that I played, it was so good we played it twice, whatever that one was.
Yeah. That's silly because...
And it said that it was copyright.
Should be allowed... I thought it was absolutely perfectly fine to cover a song as long as you're not playing the song, like recorded, as it's recorded in the...
I mean,
what do I know?
I monetized it, but I mean, be clear, the amount of views this gets, I'd be lucky if I get a penny from the advertising. I know, I'm being serious.
Yeah, absolutely.
We went down to Wiltshire, and I think we got 80p as a result of that video. People seem to think that you can make a lot of money out of this.
You have to have hundreds and thousands of subscribers to actually
and the
achieve,
views.
Yeah.
There's so many, hundreds of thousands of views.
Money like that.
So it is a bit of a joke. But I just thought if there's a little bit of cash that comes back as a result of doing this week after week after week, it would be good. However, of course, if I get these copyright claims, then it negates the money altogether. I only mention that. I only mention it. That's all I do. I only mention it. So there we go. Contest the copyright. Most of the times are wrong, says Trev Travels. I make about £20 a month. There you go.
Nice.
How can you live off £20 a month? You can't. This is one of those... It's a difficult thing when you start talking about money and YouTube. People think you make so much more than you really do, which is why occasionally I ask for donations and things so that we can keep the thing going. But anyway, don't even try to monetize it and spoil it with adverts. But if it grows, you see, there's an argument. I take your argument, Andrew Norris, but if you monetize it, the way I look at it is that's what Google want you to do because they make money from it, or YouTube want you to do. So they're more likely to promote it because they are making something out of it. Whereas if you they're not going to promote it very much if they're losing. Basically, they've got to have a server, they've got to have a hard drive, and they've got to have a place where you put your stuff on. You're basically a lost leader for them. So if you're making a little bit for them, they're more likely to... That's what I think. It makes some sort of sense. But anyway.
Stars B says, join Twitch. People there earn thousands per month. Again, I'm sure you probably need a lot of viewers for that.
It's a gaming thing, though, isn't it?
That's what it was originally created as, but it's broadened. It's a lot of people use it rather than YouTube now.
Do I use Super Chat? Well, I think there's a facility to turn Super Chat on, but from what I understand is that if you pay me a £5 in a Super Chat, I actually will only get something like £2, and £3 of that will go to YouTube. So it just seems unfair that if you're going to,
Shirley is asking, how do you donate through YouTube? Well, actually, it's the revenue from the advertisement that we're talking about there. But if you want to donate, you can on the Bold Explorer website, boldexplorer.com.
Boldexplorer.com. You can make a one-off donation, or you can make a regular contribution. Entirely up to you. I'm not asking people to do it. They can do it if they want to.
Trev's Travels by Narrowboat also says, I get more from PayPal and Patreon than YouTube, I presume.
Andrew Norris says, I've been watching the Vogue show for a couple of years and the viewing figures have been consistent. This is not the right content for making any...
No.
Steph, what do you mean it's not the right content?
This time last year, the viewing numbers went up because of the pandemic and people were coming and viewing, and you were doing a show every night, weren't you?
Yes.
Every weeknight.
I do. I have to say,
it has increased a lot.
I take exception. I find that quite odd thing to say. This is not the right content to make any money from it. Well, if you think that this is a service for which just is for free all the time, that seems very selfish.
Apparently, YouTube take about 40% on Super Chat.
Yeah, that
doesn't seem worth it, does it?
Doesn't seem. That's what I mean.
You're just paying YouTube.
A hell of a lot of money.
Pretty much.
What can you do?
Starsby was saying, check the terms of service for music rights on YouTube.
Right. Yeah. But you know, I don't want to spoil the fun. That's the thing. And as soon as you start talking about money, people get a bit twitchy about it and all of that. But you know,
from what I've experienced from the adverts on the Vogue show, it's only been like a less than 6-second one. Or it's skippable anyway. So
the other thing about watching the Vogue show for several years and the numbers are fairly consistent is I don't promote it at all. I don't promote it, but I would like to promote it. I would like this, you know, I built the studio. I pay for the lights. I pay for the electricity. We sometimes do cooking things and other bits and bobs. It would be nice to get something back. To feel that we have to do this for free because it's not a vehicle for making any money out of, I find a bit insulting, to be fair. I'm not trying to fleece anybody or charge anybody for it, but if we can make a little bit back just to pay some of the bills, that would be great.
Paul Cockerell says the ad is at the start. That's all. Yeah,
It's no different to so many adverts.
It would be horrible if it just suddenly popped up in the middle of a live stream.
Yes, no, and I wouldn't do that. Plus the fact that I know that YouTube will start putting adverts in, even if you have content, they would started to put adverts at the beginning anyway, and they make the money. Pam says, we love the show, it's great company for us. Brilliant, thank you very much. Andrew Norris says, what has been the highest viewing figure for the Vogue show? I don't think ever exceeds more than 120 or 130. Your other content gets increasing viewing numbers. Put the adverts there. And you see, that's the argument, is there is very few viewers at the moment because it's not promoted. And live streams generally don't build an audience. So that's what I want to try and do. I do want to build this audience. I want to, next year, you know, get through this year. But next year, I think I would like to... This has been a bit of a test over the last few years to see would it work. And that's an interesting observation, but I don't see why one shouldn't. You know, there's plenty of streams, radio streams, TV streams. They're all being paid. I'm not asking for a lot. It would be nice to try and earn something from it. Otherwise, one could just say, do you know what? I'll give this up. I won't bother. Bonnie says, is there a way to convert the studio heat into savable heat?
Can we go for a cup of tea yet?
Yes, we can go.
Excellent.
We're ending the show. Anyway, the show got a bit murky at the end there when you start talking about money. Don't let it worry you, people. We will do our best to keep the show going as much as we can. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Had a lovely debate about the doctors at Boots and, of course, the veg pesticides and things. Thanks to Alan Sandell for testing the phone, making sure that worked, and to Sensible Paul and Sean James Cameron for calling in. To Ray for old Danny Boy, Colonel Crag Ratty for clambering up those mountains and sending in the pictures, which has been superb, and Bernie for that grim, sinister story that you told us at the Breed Church Part 2. All good stuff. Thanks to Judith for moderating, Julia for coming in,
Richard for putting it all together.
And you guys for turning up religiously, whatever, and keeping us company on these evenings. It's been wonderful. Take care, look after yourself, have a nice time, and bye for now. Goodbye.
Oh yeah, we haven't got, yeah.
What should we do? We're just going to do our thumbnail.
Let's have bubbles again.